And here we are once again, the exciting episode 2 of We Cosplay. Woo! I tell you, it's getting to be a habit, Amanda.
Oh, I know. Thank you for inviting me back.
Well, I have to invite you back because now that this is episode 2, you are officially the co-host.
Sounds like a promotion.
Yeah, and listen, we're the ones that are promoted by having you here. But I think after this we have to start referring to you as Wee Amanda. So there you go.
Wee Amanda, okay.
Yeah,
I can live with that.
Wee Andy, Wee Amanda, Wee Justin, Wee Cy. You know that's how it works here at Weegamers.
That's good.
So Amanda, we are here tonight to talk about Space 1999.
Yes. Excellent. One of my faves. On a very special day, it has to be said.
Yes.
International Gerry Anderson Day. Andy.
I feel like it should have a theme song, but it's probably copywritten. Yes, dun 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 dun. Something like that.
There are so many. There are so many that you could pick from such great series, but it is Space 1999 tonight, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. It is. In hindsight, we've missed a trick because we should talk about them all. But
well, I do have some. You will see we do have the theme music from UFO up there.
Oh, there you go. You see? Yeah.
And my husband has no idea where or from whence this came, but we also have this.
Oh, the Thunderbirds
actually
record.
A fantastic. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And it's Brill. Little story. It was a mini album. It's Brill. So it's definitely a Gerry Anderson house.
I've just realised I've missed a trick because I have 2 giant Thunderbirds that I could have had on the shelf behind me. I've got a big Thunderbird 2 and a big Thunderbird 3.
You shot them in.
Yeah. I'm not that good. I could dangle them on strings. It would have at least been appropriate to what we're on about. But we are here for the live action one, of course, Space 1999. Okay, for you, what is Space 1999? What's the connection with your heart?
Well, again, being a child of the 70s, it just was kind of one of those TV shows that I just loved. Watching on a Saturday morning or whatever, and I would have been probably about 6 or 7, giving away my age now, but I would have been about 6 or 7 when Space 1999 was on originally. And it did at the time feel like it was very far in the future, but of course it wasn't really, but it did seem like it was very futuristic. But also actually very accessible because despite all the sort of fantastic sets, which I loved as well, and the funky furniture and all of that, they were still very sort of real stories, and the people were very sort of engaging as well, the characters. And then, of course, my favourite was this lovely lady, was Maya. I just loved Maya, although she obviously didn't really arrive sort of into series 2, but I just loved her character, and she just looked fantastic in her costumes and the way she, could change and transform into all these creatures and save the day. And so I just loved everything about it, really. It was very much of the 70s, though. It's definitely an iconic series of the 70s.
The weird part for me, my childhood memory for Space 1999, it's kind of a 2-parter because I got, as little boys often were back then, model kits bought from every so often. It was, you lived in Portrush and it was, how do you keep it a mischief? Buy a model kit. So I remember having this really awesome model kit of the most outlandish spaceship I'd ever seen in my life. Now, bear in mind, my childhood knee-time television was Star Trek because my mum was a major Star Trek fan. So that's kind of where that was imbibed. Space 1999, I caught kind of on the reruns, and it wasn't until the reruns that I went, that's the model kit I was bought when I was waiting. It was the Hawk, the kind of the alternate Eagle ship, which kind of connected it. But I loved the ships, and I loved the whole idea of the moon base and living on the moon and all. And again, it seemed so plausible. It seemed so down to earth, if that makes sense. It wasn't
Yeah, no, it
wacky
was.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, I mean, I think also because there were big name stars. I mean, we have to be honest and say, Martin Landau was a big name, and it was very much. I mean, I think the whole production values and everything in it were wasn't it like one of the most expensive TV series they made or something at the time? That sort of rattling around my head that it was very expensive to make, but it wasn't. I remember UFO as well, although UFO I would have been younger, and I have very vague memories of UFO, mostly just his hair from
lots of hair,
UFO when it
lots
was
of
on
hair.
originally, and it wasn't until much later on that I sort of connected it was all the same. It was all Gerry Anderson, because I didn't really connect UFO with Space 1999, and then it wasn't until much later that I realised, oh right, UFO was like the forerunner because it's Moonbase Alpha, and sort of and it all joined up, but it's just a fantastic, just and the puppets and everything as well, all the Thunderbird stuff and all of that.
Yeah,
I just loved all of that. So it was, it's just one of those, as I say, series that I like to go back to, and I have enjoyed watching again through lockdown because it been able to watch it. So it's great.
Thunderbirds was a guilty pleasure for me as well, and and I hate to admit it, I'm even a fan of the live action of that too. And on that point, we'll move on. Odd little sort of, I suppose. Let's throw in a little nugget. But Sylvie Anderson
Yeah.
was one of the ones who insisted for Space 99, as I'm led to believe. And when I say as I'm led to believe, from something I read once in a magazine, um, insisted on repeats of the extras for Space 1999, which when they were filming back then, it wasn't kind of a common thing. We need 12 extras on Saturday. You got sent 12 extras. But she was
Yeah.
insisting that it was the same 12 people type of thing, because it was important for her that the same faces be seen in the background to set the idea that this was a tight community of predictable faces you would see even walking past in the corridor. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool. I like that
Yeah.
fact.
Well, my claim to fame for Space 1999, and at the time I didn't realise it, but when I went to Star Wars Celebration back a few years ago when it was in London, and I was doing my steampunky thing, and there was a lady who was there as a guest, I think, for one of the panels or something like that. And she actually approached me and she asked me if she could have her photograph taken with me, which yeah, I was delighted. And so I got a lovely photograph with her, and it's the lovely Pam Rose, who was in Star Wars and has been in very, very many British series, including Space 1999. And
Class.
she's actually in one of the groups that we're in for Space 1999. So I was telling her that she popped up in one of the episodes I was watching a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "There's Pam! It's Pam!" My husband's like, "What are you talking about? That's Pam!
Who
I've
are
met that
you? Get
lady.
out of my house.
It's lovely." So, but there's so many actors that were in all of those films of stuff that were all made. I suppose they were all being made, and wasn't it Pinewood or wherever they were all made. So, so it's all, you see the same faces popping up, probably some of the same costumes, and I'm sure some of the props got reused.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so, because all that stuff was getting recycled all the time. We've seen
Yeah,
Doctor Who costumes appear in Star Wars and all manner of
absolutely.
things.
Yeah. So I bet you there's a wee alpha, a wee eagle somewhere, and and the model of the Death Star or something, because aren't there sort of like weird little ships tucked
Oh
away?
oh yeah, there's a whole host of that.
Airfix ships.
There's actually an eagle on the Eagle. The Studio Eagle kit, for part of its build, uses the Airfix Eagle module from the moon landing. The two
Oh,
halves of the
okay.
Eagle module are on the original build as part of it, because they wanted to have the Eagle on the Eagle as well.
Goodness, there you go. It's
Oh,
amazing.
but yeah, it's they
Genius.
stripped all those parts to build everything. I have a great magazine, and I'll see if I can dig out a picture to throw up on our chat. But it's a magazine tour, for the want of a better word, of one of the Studio Eagles, the restoration of one of the Studio Eagles.
Yeah.
And it was used to design and build the 22-inch model kit that was released a couple of years back. They've since sort of done all the variations of the Eagles. They were quite expensive. I'm still scared to build mine because it's the most expensive model kit I've ever bought. I went, no, I'm not going to build it. I'll keep it until I'm an old man.
I'd have to do it someday.
I will have to do it. But you look through this and like people, and even on the Facebook group for Space 99 Eagles, there's a group just for people who build Eagles. And,
yes.
There's one recent...
I think I dipped my toe in that particular pot and I thought, oh, I don't think this is the group for me.
Gee, this is not the place I need to be in.
It was full on.
There was a guy has one of the small modules and he has it that the doors on the module open and the computer banks all light up and the lights in the corridors light up and the door lights up and it makes the sounds and it's tiny.
It's amazing what people can do.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So isn't it easy and good by comparison that you and I are doing the really simple thing of making costumes to do with Space 1999?
Yeah, costumes are easy. Costumes are easy, aren't they? Not.
Well, now, you're a consummate professional. I mean, I can talk about the really hard part about props at the minute if you want, but I've got a feeling that you've got plenty you can tell us about costumes already. Judging by what I see behind you. Oh, we'll make a costume. I count like 2 already.
Well, yeah. Yes, pretty much. And, this obviously started recently. So this is a very recent sort of endeavour for us, isn't it, Andy?
Yes.
And it all started because said UFO theme music came from the Gerry Anderson shop, the online Gerry Anderson store. Which has a fantastic array of Gerry Anderson related memorabilia and all sorts of bits and pieces. But as a consequence of being on their mailing list, I got a little email that said, guess what? We're producing Space 1999 jerseys. And I went, I've got to have one of those. Andy, would you like a jersey?
And I said,
we decided yes. We were going to get our Space 1999 jerseys. So I've got the lovely orange sleeve, and I think you've gone for the nice black charcoal Koenig style sleeve.
Yes.
But they haven't arrived yet, but we wait with bated breath. But that did get us thinking then about, could we do this? Could we actually produce these costumes on a relatively tight budget with relative ease, on the basis that if we get the jerseys, and they're going to need some work because they don't have the zips down the arm or anything like that, but they look pretty good. But I sort of thought, the rest of it, it's all 70s stretch knits, so I can do that. And I do have some lovely beige. I'll show this to you. Lovely beige jersey.
Lovely.
Which we're going to make lovely skirts and fantastic 70s flared pants from. Brandy.
Can't beat flares. They automatically allow more air circulation.
Yeah. So I've actually started. I was going to lift this up a little bit if you can see on my mannequin here. This is the female costume where we've got the skirt underway.
Ooh, look at that.
The nice contrast stitching and everything being done. So I've started to construct the easy bits, which are the skirts and the trousers. And I'm using vintage patterns as well. I'm using 70s sewing patterns to make them, so they're very authentic. So that has started me down the Space 1999
rabbit hole.
Sort of rabbit hole, indeed. And just by chance then, and this was only last week, I found this blue ski jacket on eBay. I used to have a ski jacket like this in the 70s. That's what made me think about it when I watched it again, because this is from the episode Death's Other Dominion, which is one of my favourite episodes. For, as usual, a very understated performance from Brian Blessed. And what is probably one of the most, probably scariest thing that I probably ever saw when I was a child, when Brian Blessed basically decomposes in the eagle at the end, instantaneously. But I always loved the costumes. And watching it again, I thought I really, really love that costume with the ski jacket. And again, it's just kind of, you kind of think, why did they have hiking boots and red hiking socks and ski suits on Moonbase Alpha? I don't know, but they did. So I found this blue ski jacket, and it's actually pretty much perfect because it's got all the red zips and everything on it. So I'm going to have to make a white belt, which I will make. I think it's probably actually a white military belt that the original costume is. And then I've been making patches, so I'm going to talk to you about making patches because the patches are very important.
You've been making patches and stickers.
That's the sticker, and that was an image that, you know, it's one of the ones that floats around for the sort of there's loads of badges that they used on Space 1999, and I've done a few patches, and as you know, I've done the Lunar Space Research Organization patch as well. But that the stickers that I did just to sort of start testing things, I posted it up in one of the Space 1999 groups and got not ticked off, but I was encouraged to find a more accurate patch. So I thought, right, okay, well, I'm going to do that. So that's what I have done. So I have made a little patch with my little embroidery machine, which I will just bring up here so you can see.
Lovely. I think hopefully we will have a little bit of footage of your machine actually making that.
Yes. Because that's one of the things that I like to do is actually try and design myself the sort of original patches and badges for costumes, because they can actually be the most difficult thing to try and track down, and there are lots of sellers in that who will do them, but I quite enjoy that bit of it, doing the embroidery, because it's like, you know, you digitize the design and stuff. So so I've made those myself, and if we get our ski suit all sorted, then it should hopefully look quite nice.
What I find most amusing about this is that little idle conversation, literally an idle conversation. I'm ordering a jumper. Do you fancy one, Andy? Yeah, definitely. What colour? Oh, well, Koenig's, you know, obviously, because, you know, he was the Kirk of Space 1999. I know. We should do the whole costume, Amanda. Well, you know, has gone from yes to now you've made the ski suit costume. You're obsessed, woman. You're obsessed.
Well, no, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, I hadn't intended to do that costume at all. It was it was one of those things where you're looking for stuff on eBay, and you know, you flick through, and just sort of popped into my head, let's have a look, see any nice vintage ski jackets, because I remember having one in the 70s, and I loved my ski jacket. It wasn't a nice blue one like that. It was the sort of blue and white stripy thing, but they were dead cool. Ski jackets were like really cool.
Oh yeah, the 70s. They were in.
You know, they were the in thing. And when I saw that one, again, not very much money at all on eBay, and it was the right size, and I just thought that was meant to happen.
Yeah,
I was meant to get that. And so I thought, well, why not? We'll just add a few things. So you can see a white turtleneck jumper there, which was again our friends at Amazon who, you know, produce things, you know, almost instantaneously. I said, sent me a white turtleneck, and the next day it arrived, along with a red balaclava and a pair of white ski goggles. I mean, it's brilliant. So so I'm very excited actually to bring this one to sort of full. It is going to need some work, but it'll be, even on a mannequin, it's actually, I think, quite a nice thing to sort of have just for display purposes if we were ever to do
I think it's
sort
awesome.
of convention or something again. It would be quite nice.
No, I think it's awesome because it's you know, if you were going to have the DVDs on the bookcase, everyone has the full set. You don't get one of them and think, well, that'll do. And it's like, you know, and I laugh slightly up my sleeve, and I'm not actually laughing because, you know, this time last year, oh, I'd love a Doctor Who costume. Oh, I've got a Doctor Who costume. Oh, hang on, I've got 4 coming. So, you know, and I do get
You
it.
say I'm obsessed.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I was
I know.
jesting, and I do get it
I know.
because there is that. I know it's weird to say. Cosplayers have this reputation of simply being cosplayers. You know, dress up, run around, do weird stuff, take photographs, love yourself. When in many cases, it's another collector hobby too.
Yeah,
You're
very
collecting
definitely.
personalities and costumes.
Yeah. And yeah, no, it's very definitely about that because I mean, there's a lot of the costumes that I have, as you know, Andy, that they're not things that I would actually wear.
Yeah.
They're not characters that I would seek to portray myself. But I like the costumes. There's something about the costume or the character that I really like, and you know, as quite often happens, as has happened with this one, I don't go out of my way to do it, but I will see something. As you know, I'm a great charity shop hawker, and I will see an item of clothing and think, oh, that would be brilliant for, and it's the base of a costume, and then it's the, as we've talked about before, the kind of steampunk in me that likes to take things apart and put them back together again in a slightly different way to sort of recreate that costume as best I can, as closely as I can, and as kind of sympathetically, I suppose. I mean, it'll never be exactly. I'll never be able to get that to be exactly the same as the costumes in Space 1999. But I think most people would look at it who are fans and think, that's not. That's looks good. It's
Yeah.
got the vibe about it, and that's quite nice.
But you've hit an nail on the head, and I suppose for the cosplayer, for the wannabe cosplayer, this is the thing about it too. You can decide today that you want to do whatever character, and you start your first point of reference is looking for those photographs. I mean, you've talked about the catacombs, the Space 1999 catacombs website,
Yes.
As being a great source for photographic reference for this project, both for costumes and for the props. In fact, the little background screen that we're employing for tonight's little chat is courtesy of their site as well. But I mean, as somebody wanting to do costumes, you start off, you think, oh, I want to do this, get your photographs for reference. The trick is to start looking at those costumes and not being overwhelmed with how to replicate it, but looking at what can you identify out of it. That, you know, yes, she's wearing this outfit, but is it a jumper under a blouse? Is it a shirt with a coat over it? Could you do it with a waistcoat? Finding how the components come together and then looking for those individual bits and plucking them. And you can start off with a costume that, look, you know, in a mist, on a cloudy day, across a field, oh, that's such and such a costume, and you get up close and go, well, good effort, fair enough. Or you can spend the hours and hours and weeks and months and a bit more money and a lot more time to try and get it screen accurate if you want.
Yeah.
And
but I think it's like as we've talked about before, you know, it's there's a scale on the sort of cosplay to costumer, I think, and I would do, you know, anything and everything on that scale, from things which are just cosplay thrown together, the 5-minute job that you rummage about in your wardrobe and you throw something on, and you know, there's enough elements of the character that people will recognise it as that, and that's fine, and it's fun and all the rest of it, through to the screen accurate costume, because as we've talked about before, we're doing that as a show that people are coming to see, really, you know, and people expect to see an accurate representation of the character. So there is a level of it. But again, it's like we said before as well, it's about getting the key elements of the costume and, you know, getting those close enough that people will say, yes, that's a good representation, or that's an excellent representation of that costume. But it doesn't have to be really expensive.
No.
Because, you know, as I say, I picked that jacket up on eBay. Yes, I'm going to have to put some hours into modifying it, but I enjoy that. That's what I like to do. But, you know, I think that cost me like £8 or something for that jacket. So it wasn't a huge outlay. And if it doesn't work, or, you know, I make a hames of it, well, you know, okay, it's you know, money down the drain. But, you know, it's not a huge amount of money. Not like your very expensive model that you know you might drop or something
sideways. Yeah, don't build the model kit, Andy. Just don't build the model kit.
But it's the same thing, you know. I look at it really that, you know, you like to build models. There's a whole fandom out there that they love all the models and the props, and they like to replicate them and build those models. You know, these clothes to me are models as well. They're just models in fabric. That's all it is. That's all the difference.
Amen, sister. Because this is the thing for me, and that's one of the things when I talk about the hobby and Weegamers, and in the early days, I used to get the Gibbs slap in the back of the head. That's not hobby, but it is. It's what you're passionate about. It's what you enjoy. This is where you bring your hobby and your craft and your skills and your interest and your enthusiasm and your expertise. You pull it all together, and it doesn't matter that you're bringing together fabric and stitching it, or I'm bringing together lumps of plastic and gluing them. We're doing the exact same thing, sister, for the exact same reasons, just different things in different ways.
Absolutely. But I do like doing models and props too, but you're much better at that. So why don't you show everybody the lovely props that we're going to be looking at
Well, okay, because
for
now
our costumes?
Amanda has actually also, as well as her humble costumes, as you know, because you nearly think listening to her there that it's, oh, you know, it's nothing. Skills to the max. She's also built a prop too. I cheated. I didn't actually get to build a prop. So instead, on your screens, you're getting a look at this little baby and at this little baby initially. And these are the Century Castings stun gun and comlock from Space 1999. And that's right, it's solid resin. This one needs a little bit of touch up, a little bit of love. The weird thing, and you're going to think, how sad do you want to be? I'd seen photographs of one of the real props, like one of the hero props years later, and it was all sort of damaged and disintegrated in places. So I was actually kind of having a go at seeing if I could do that, and I thought, why? So it's going to get repainted.
Okay.
The stun lock, again, this is just the resin one, doesn't do anything. And I had these already.
It looks cool.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks cool.
Yeah. Now, the nice thing that Amanda doesn't know is that for my next project, she's getting a comlock as well.
Oh, hurrah!
Yeah.
Excited.
Because aside from Century Castings to do these lovely sets, you can nip on, and as if by magic, boom, Thingyverse, that wonderful site of STL files for people who like to do a little bit of 3D printing. And yeah, that's a 3D printer behind me, baby. There is also files that lovely people have created. You can give them a little donation if you want, or you can just be mean and take them and print them the way everybody else does. But they have comlocks and stun guns variants. They're not quite right. But Amanda, shall we tell them about the other mistake we've made?
Oh, which one?
No, not that one. Not that one. The Anderson store. So
why not?
So whilst this is lovely and perfectly functional for cosplay, it's a lump of resin. It doesn't do anything. You know, it's grand. You can, of course, go slightly mad and get this. Now, we'll say nothing, but we'll just let the picture and the numbers at the bottom do the talking. And I'm not going to justify it, and neither's Amanda. We're just going to let it sit there for a second. You can judge us all you want, and then we'll move on.
Move off.
Yes, and I think that's fair. Show them the prop you've made, Amanda.
Well, you see, this is how we say, that everything's on a scale, and some stuff might be moderately expensive, and other stuff is not expensive at all.
Balances out.
On the fantastic Catacombs, Space 1999 Catacombs website, which is my go-to, I have to say, for reference photographs. So a lot of the stuff that I've been working on in Space 1999, I've gone to their site and dug through the continuity guide for all manner of interesting things. And there was a little gadget that caught my eye just because I thought it was very pretty and kind of a bit retro and slightly steampunky sort of look to it, which sort of caught my eye, and I thought, oh, that's quite nice. I wonder what that is. And I discovered that there were these things called national flash guns, which are the old-fashioned flash guns that used to go on the top of the camera. And it looks like this, which I'm going to hold it up. So when it comes out of its box, it comes in a little leathery case. So again, this was an eBay find. Again, I think I paid less than a tenner for this. And this is a national flash gun, which if I do that, it explodes out.
It's so James Bond.
It is really James Bond. I have to take the little peg out of it. And you get this lovely little, like a mini satellite dish.
Brilliant.
Okay. Now, interestingly, so this was used in Space 1999 it's like a handheld scanner. And the one that they actually, I know you're going to put the photograph up, but what they did was, you can see on this is the back of it. So you can see the little blue dial there. So they put a little toggle switch on it here. And then where the battery pack was, it's like a little sort of
reader
dial thing that they put on. You can put the big picture on. So anyway, so I'm going to do the same thing. So I've just printed this out in paper just for scale. And if I put that on the back of the battery pack and we put a toggle switch on that,
yep,
that'll basically look like the one on the show. So what I need to do then is put a handle on it here, and then it has a big sort of spirally spiky thing, which I don't know, some kind person might 3D print that for me, maybe.
Now, if you need it designed, Mr. Morrison, wee Justin, is the man to talk to. If the file already exists somewhere, then I'm your man, because
sure, I can find something that looks very similar.
Because I is not creative on the file making front. I is lazy. I just go, oh yeah, there's a file, I'll print it.
Well, my other alternative is if I come across or anybody has a chocolate machine, you know, the ones that do the melted chocolate that you dip.
Yes.
The little tabletop machines that do the chocolate fountain, yeah. It has a swirly thing on the inside of it. So one of those would work as well. So that's my other idea.
Kind of like almost like an Archimedes screw type thing that takes the chocolate to the top.
Yeah, if you look at the photographs, it's like a pointy thing with like discs on it, but a swirly thing would do just as well. So, but interestingly, just as a little aside, if you watch Jurassic Park 3, I think it is it the third one? It's the one that Vince Vaughn's in anyway. And he's like a photographer in it. At a certain point in the film, you will see Vince Vaughn pull one of these out of his pouch and set it up as if it's a satellite antenna. And I spotted it and I went, oh, that's the scanner from Space 1999. So every film I'm watching now, all I can see are these flash guns everywhere being used for all sorts of props. So they were obviously the go-to thing for a sort of very scientific looking antenna sort of type thing. So that'll be my little scratch build, which I should get done actually in the next week or so. So when I get it all finished, I'll get the photographs up and we can share those at some point. But it's such a cute thing, so I was delighted to find them. And as I say, pick them up on eBay for $5, and there's loads of them about. So brilliant little prop.
I might just get one for no other reason than that it's class looking, and I just want to run around and pretend I'm James Bond with like a satellite phone thing. Andy, you can actually buy a satellite phone, yes, but not one with a satellite dish.
And you can stick it just in your pocket because that's all the size it is when it falls down. So it's amazing.
Stick it anywhere. Right, so if we are going to summarise our message to the lovely people tonight as we wrap up, the message is this: Space 99, it was awesome. You should really watch it. Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it's very much of its era. Yes, season 1 was better in some respects than season 2, but don't say that to Amanda or she will transmutate into a wild bear and tear you limb from limb. It's all got good stuff.
Can I just do one very quick top tip?
Oh, yes.
And again, it's about lovely, which is why I have this lovely sweatshirt here beside me. because I know I need to put the photographs up, so I'm going to do this very, very quickly. But everybody loves the jackets that they wear as well in Space 1999. So the jumpers are quite iconic, but they have these lovely zipper jackets.
Yeah.
And again, when I was watching the other day, just going to take this patch off just while I do this. And this is my very 70s hedgehog pincushion. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
That is from the 70s. I actually realised the other day that those jackets are just sweatshirts. They are literally sweatshirts that have been sliced up the middle with a zip put in and 2 bits of beige, like that. So you have one like that and one down that, like that, and then the zip down the middle. But I also realised this was a £5 sweatshirt, again off Amazon, which had a hood on it. So I have, by magic, already taken the hood off. And if you have the hood, there's enough fabric in that to make a collar. And I'm going to show you how we do that. Probably can't really see that, but there's actually enough fabric there to make a collar. So what we're going to do is slice it down the middle and put bias binding all around the edges and the 2 straps. And when you put the picture up of the actual jacket, you will see that it literally is just a sweatshirt. So that is going to be a really, really cheap make and a very easy make to get a quite authentic looking Space 1999 jacket.
She kept that one dark and secret from me because she knows.
That's my top tip.
Yeah.
Hoodies can be turned into jackets with collars.
And
very easily.
And Amanda knows that before this recording has even finished processing tonight, there'll be a text with my sizes in it to her again. So, damn, I was only going to make one as an example. Now I have to make him one as well. That means I'll have to make myself a jacket too. I didn't want to make jackets. Awesome.
But it just goes to show that, people think a lot of these costumes are very, very expensive. And people pay a lot of money to get them made, and I'm not taking that away at all. There's some makers out there, especially in Space 1999, who do the uniforms, and they're beautiful. They're absolutely tailored, and they're just fantastic.
Oh yeah.
But it can be done on a budget. So and that will be my budget version.
That is class. And no, you're quite right. And again, I would reiterate, cosplayer, collector. There's a difference there too, and quite rightly, there are chaps out there and lassies who are making the really bespoke kind of tailored garments, heavy duty fabrics and all the rest of it, and that's got all the metal markings and insignia the world that you want, and you would believe, in fact, I'd say they're better than we're on the show. Yeah, quite right. If you've got the money for that, that's the thing that you want to have up on your wall or you want to wear, go for it. Bing bang bosh, happy days. If you've got 20 quid in your pocket and you still want to do a Space 1999 costume, then this is the sort of thing you want to be watching out for, because there is no less passion and enjoyment and love to be had in your bargain basement cosplay build than there is for the person who can afford the 580 quid tailored made one for them. Bully for you too. There's room in cosplay for everybody, all categories, all classes, all levels of competence and enjoyment. And it's important, and this is it too, you've got to have a thick skin in cosplay, because if you're happy with your wardrobe build, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like it. And equally, you with your £500 jacket, somebody will walk up and go, oh, wrong kind of stitching on that. Yeah.
This is true. But you know what? It's, if you like it, that's the main thing. And if you want to wear it, then wear it. And, 99% of the fandom will be behind you 100%.
Exactly. But it's also why stun guns had a kill setting. It's also why we don't get stun guns. Because we would all set them to kill.
I'm not allowed one of those.
Yeah. Yet, because he doesn't know what's coming in the post. Anyway, so yes, happy Anderson's Day, Amanda.
Yes, I'm very excited. I mean, it's a big thing, and I just think it's great that there just seems to be a resurgence of interests, and people saying, "Oh, I love that when I was a kid." It's like, "Yay, let's watch it again." And they are, I have to say, they are classic series, and still very enjoyable. I mean, I still. You can have your argument about Series 1, Series 2, Space 1999. I don't care. I love it all.
Yeah.
I just love it all.
Yep.
So I'm going to go and watch a couple of episodes and raise a glass to the great man himself.
Absolutely. I might, we should have actually started tonight's with stay tuned, anything could happen in the next 30 minutes. Stay tuned for action. But we probably got told off for that by somebody or other. But yes, I might go and indulge in a little bit of nostalgia watching as well. Just to round off the evening, and I may pour a little tipple of something to raise a glass to the good name as well. Folks, I would like to thank you for tuning in once again. Hopefully, we've given you something of interest. I think we've indulged ourselves a little more tonight than anything else. Nothing wrong with that either.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
No, we will be back with more. We still have loads in store for you, you lucky people. Loads, because we're going to be covering Star Trek, we're going to be covering steampunk, we're going to be covering Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts and Doctor Who and more. Yeah, because there's just so much out there, and Amanda's had a hand in everything. We've both got stuff in our wardrobes that there's no excuse to show off these days, so you're getting to suffer it. But along the way, we will do our best to try and
virtual costuming.
Yeah, but along the way, we will try and throw in the odd idea and tip, as Amanda just did, as to how you can sort of do these things on a budget or push it to the next level if you want to. In the props department tonight, I've given you the budget option and the not so budget option.
Not so bad.
But it's an investment. That's what I say.
That's true.
Yeah,
very true.
I have some investments to justify whenever we get round to talking to about Doctor Who costumes. But on that note, I shall say goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Yeah.
FAB.
Yeah. Oh, see what you did there. Very good. Very good. Right. Tune in again soon, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you're still here, well done. You win an award. You win the hit subscribe award. And we shall catch you in the next one, folks. Don't forget to give it a like, give it a share. Tell all your friends or the people you don't like. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.